Oh, no.
Sorry,
Keeping
20, everyone slash. I'm trying to be efficient given that we've started a bit late. Apologies, just a bit of a delay with our previous conversation. So we'll call the meeting of the Louis Riel School Division Board of Trustees to order for December 5th. Those of you that may be joining us via YouTube will be looking probably at empty seats all night. We have a room full of people, however, the cameras are not tracking the way they should be. So you will hear us, but I don't think will be able to see us if what I've been told that actually is going to continue to be the case. The Louis Riel School Division brings together a community of schools on the traditional land of the Anishinaabeg, Niniwak, and Dakota. Our division is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis, and we recognize that Manitoba is also the traditional land of the Anishinaabe and Dene. Respect the treaties made on this land, acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and present, and we dedicate ourselves to authentic alliances with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and cooperation. In reflecting on our land acknowledgement, I want to acknowledge that I am becoming more and more aware that a land acknowledgement has to be more than just words. And as a settler, I commit to seeking out opportunities to learn about and from mistakes of the past and do my part to ensure that they are not repeated. So I want to welcome everybody here this evening, our guests in the room, our guests that are joining us online. If you have some questions about items on the agenda, we have a question period at the very end of the meeting. If you have questions of a general nature, you can certainly email info@lrsd.net. They will be redirected accordingly to the person who is in the best position to assist you with getting the information or the guidance that you need. Our vision is for all members of our community to excel as caring, confident, capable, and resilient lifelong learners who contribute to a democratic and sustainable world. Our mission is to provide a safe, inclusive, and engaging environment where personal and collective learning are valued and each one of us reaches our full potential. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda for this evening's meeting, which is the recommendation. I need a mover and a seconder. Please. Moved by Trustee Garrier, second Trustee Kolochuk. All in favor? Any opposed? Sorry. Good. While we're tallying votes, the motion is carried. We have regrets this evening from Superintendent Schlick. I think she said she was good. Next item is to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting for November 21st. Those were circulated in advance. I haven't had anyone draw any errors or actions that need to be made. So we will receive those as they were distributed. And the next item then is to approve the minutes of the November 28th meeting. Again, they were distributed in advance. Haven't received any notice that there needs to be any corrections made. So again, we will accept those the way they were distributed. This brings us to news, starting with news from the Board of Trustees being provided by Trustee Garrier.
Okay, I'm delighted to bring some interesting happenings in our school division. Last Saturday, I went to the ATC Applied Management Program. They hosted a winter market. My family and I attended it and we loved it. It was a great community event. It was from 10 in the morning till 3 and there's so many things for people to do. We had a pancake breakfast, had photos with Santa. So you can see from the pictures, we have the students did so much work for this event and the gym was beautiful. We had lots of local vendors selling all sorts of things from handmade things from the students and the community, and it was really a lovely event. So that was the first event. The second thing I'd like to highlight is the Indigenous Language Program. This LRS team offers both Anishinaabe and Inuit classes to kindergarten to grade 1 to 2 students. Right now, the program is offered in 27 of the 30 English and French immersion schools in our division. And it's a really wonderful program. One of the important things was the program complements the Manitoba curriculum, and the classes are taught in a co-teaching model. So you have the classroom teacher along with a member of our Indigenous language team having the classes. So by following the lunar cycle, the students learn that the Indigenous communities mark time by 13 moons and what occurs during those times on the land. They learn all about the constellations and plants and animals and the traditions that our people practice at this time of the year, each time that they learn a new segment. So the classes are about a half an hour and they take place twice during a 6-day cycle. And they deliver these through songs, through games, through crafts. And it's really good land-based learning here. So I went to École Anne-Marie Gabourey on November 21st, and I was really welcomed and warmly welcomed by the kindergarten teacher and the vice principal and the member of our Indigenous language team. And I got to sit in and work with the students actually together to learn the lesson. And they did chanting, they did movement, they were making a little globe out of plasticine, and each step of the process was spoken in the Indigenous language, and the students were just eating this up. It was amazing. They were joyous in their learning, and it was a beautiful experience. It was just so interesting to see the French immersion kids learning another language in the capacity that they had for learning this third language. I would say that this is probably one of the highlights of my time as a trustee, and I'm really proud that our school division is offering this important program. I would encourage anyone to have a look. I know we have a trustee visit coming up, and you will not be disappointed. You will love this. So thank you.
Thank you very much. News.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh,
We have a
all right.
2-minute video on this of the students counting. Amy, can we get that? Or are we having trouble with?
No, figure it out.
Okay. Sorry, I almost forgot. That was okay. I don't even think it's 2 minutes. It's shorter, but this is the class. No sound. They can count, they can follow directions. It's just totally amazing.
Great.
Thanks again. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
News also this evening from Assistant Superintendent Jean Paul.
So I have the opportunity to share a little bit more about some of the wonderful ways our students and our schools are actualizing the multi-year strategic plan, its big ideas and its strategic actions. And so Minnetonka's Hamper Drive this year, they've collected 466 items. So we've got a small school with a big heart. They also have been doing more connected to sustainability. And so they've connected with Fort White Alive, looking at connecting to nature for urban schools programming. We had Superintendent Michalik attended, had the opportunity to speak actually at the Youth Biolab at the St. Boniface Hospital on its 10th anniversary. And so the L'Oreal School has been a part of this since the very beginning. And we had a wonderful group of Nelson Mack students who hosted. So I was amongst the guests there and had the opportunity to hold a pig's heart and be guided through all sorts of other wonderful things by our Nelson Mack students. Dr. Penner School is hosting a winter market, and this is an initiative by a student named William. I had the opportunity to visit with William on my trips to Dr. Penner. He is an antiquer, and so I'm not at all surprised by this initiative of his. And I'm hoping that amongst all of the donations, he'll find some neat antique thrifty things for himself. And so if you have any items that you'd like to donate and you live in the Dr. Penner item to this winter market, please feel free to drop them off at the school. You can contact the school for more information. Dr. Penner School also was involved in a visit of their leadership team to the Vista Park Lodge. And so just looking at the intergenerational learning that was taking place there, students interviewing some of the kind seniors living there about their childhoods, and so being able to make some of the comparisons. And you'll also remember a couple of meetings ago, I shared about one of our leadership team meetings, and we had a teacher from St. George School who had come to leadership team meeting as we were doing some professional learning around religious holidays and celebrations and ways of acknowledging them in our schools. And so this particular teacher was leading some of the learning taking place at St. George School, where they recognized Diwali through a number of different ways to celebrate with decorations, attire, activities, and art. And so we had students not just celebrating Hindu culture and recognizing Diwali, but also it was a great opportunity for students to feel that openness and invitation to share about their own cultures and identities, and ask the question, when can we do this? So always great to open the door to those conversations and that learning in our schools.
Video?
Nope, no video, just
Okay.
picture.
Those are great photos.
It's
Thank you very much. I feel as if these news pieces are starting to become like a little tour through the division, so to have knocked it out of the park this week for sure. Chair information to the board, a couple of pieces here for folks. The first one is that all trustees received a current for 23-24 list of the chairs or presidents or contact parents for each of the schools in our division that have a school parent council or some other formal body that is at work. We have, as a group, a policy and a process regarding how we engage with these folks, and it is in section O of the procedural bylaws. As a rule, the parent councils are quite happy to see trustees, have trustees come and visit. If you are interested in reaching out, work with your ward partner and see if you can't pin down some days to go and pay a visit, learn what the parent councils are working on, meet the school parent leaders, and at the same time, take a few pieces of information about what is currently occupying the board's time. You will see that within this protocol, there is a list of people who need to be notified of planned visits, and we're always interested in hearing what you may have discussed when you visit. So I would encourage you to reach out, make a connection, and indicate your interest. They may have already reached out to you. I know some parent councils have already done so, but certainly it's another opportunity for community engagement, parent engagement, and just being present and visible in our schools. Also guided by policy is a piece that I need to reference today related to annual evaluation of superintendent of schools. That is covered by policy CBI. We need to just affirm publicly that this process is beginning by a certain point of each year, which we're approaching. And trustees will know that this process is well documented. We are looking to perhaps streamline it a little bit and make it a little bit more relevant and accessible. So work will be ongoing around that. But it is something, of course, that we talk about on a regular basis, and it leads up to just a nice conversation with our superintendent, with the board, and some reflection on what always the year that was. And finally, item 4.3, the Manitoba School Boards Association Fall General Meeting was at the end of November. Jamie, would you be able to put up the program that's attached to this item, please? I just wanted to highlight this because it was the first of two opportunities for boards throughout the province to come together and do some networking, some professional learning, have some conversation. We were very pleased at the end of our second day together to welcome Minister of Education Nello Altomare to bring greetings. And he was gracious enough to stay and answer some questions. And all in all, it was a good couple of days of some formal business pieces, but also some learning. And of course, the second piece will be our annual general meeting taking place in March. And information will be forwarded to boards fairly soon, I would think, on that, because it's gonna be here sooner than later, so. Item 5 is senior leadership team information to the board. We have 2 items, capital projects update and then an update on pending by-election. And capital projects, I guess, through the assistant superintendent to, oh, that's sitting with you. I'm just gonna send it to Jamie.
Well, Jamie will be doing an update for a Sage Creek school.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just to bring an update on Ecole Sage Creek School. Over the past few weeks, specifically on November 21st, we issued a authorization letter for ATP 03, which is our superstructure and elements package. This package issue awards for the following: door hardware and frames, glazing and skylight, fiberglass windows, drywall, roofing, air and vapor barriers, exterior metal panels and EMs, fireproofing and fire stopping, skyfold vertical partitions, horizontal folding partitions, and horizontal folding leaf partitions. So that award was in the amount of $7,908,482. And with that, the total project or total awards for the project so far is $49,437,283. We have 1 ATP left to be issued, which is number 4. This is currently posted on Mercs and will be awarded in the new school year. And this will entail interior finishings and furnishings. Outside of the tendering process, if anyone's had a drive by our site lately, it's a buzz of activity, and all the piling is in, and they're working on the next phase of the project. So it's very exciting to see.
And I would like to bring news about the roof structural reinforcement project at J.H. Bunce Collegiate. The project started yesterday in classrooms 206, 207, and 208. The classes normally scheduled in these rooms have been relocated and will resume in their regular locations in January. The roof the roof reinforcement will extend to the power mechanics room, cafeteria, electronics lab, and home economics room. All of these spaces will remain fully accessible throughout the school year, ensuring a seamless experience for our students. To minimize any potential disruption to the school routine, the primary phase of the renovation work is scheduled for the winter, spring, and summer breaks. News from Collège Jean Sauvé Classroom Addition and Renovation Project. The music room has been completed and the certification letters have been submitted to the City of Winnipeg. And we are expected to obtain the occupancy authorization for later this week. Marion School Elevator and Envelope Project. The majority of the exterior and interior work has been completed. We have received new canopies for all entrances, and the contractor will be installing these new canopies and pouring new concrete ramp and stairs for the main entrance before the winter break. Island Lakes Community School modular units. These are portable classrooms. The project is close to design completion. Tender-ready drawings and specifications will be received by the division for a review before winter break. And lastly, the École Marianne Gabory boiler project. The division has completed a review of the 99% drawings and specifications, and the consultant is now preparing tender-ready drawings.
Trustees, any questions on any of these updates that we've received? All right, seeing no hands. 5.2 is just an update on the by-election.
Very much. We're starting the process of starting our the work for the by-election. And so the first step in the process is to issue a warrant letter to the city clerk's department with the City of Winnipeg. And that we will inform them that a vacancy in Ward 1 has resulted from a resignation of the Champagne, and that a by-election will be required to fill the vacancy. This letter will be issued to the city in the next few days. Once this letter has been issued, the next step in the process is for the Board of Trustees to appoint a senior election official. This appointment will be brought forward at our board meeting on December 19th. Once these two pieces are put into place and a senior elections official has been appointed, more information will come on the timing of the election.
Trustees, any questions on this? We will ensure to share information as we get it, but also this is very much driven by the Manitoba elections, Winnipeg elections, I guess, is the body that handles it. So their website too will have probably even more information than we will be able to provide. So we will watch this unfold. That takes us to policy. We have one item to be amended, and I will turn to the acting superintendent.
Very good, thank you. Policy AE was first adopted in 2004, and it specifies procedures related to field trip, school bus transportation safety. And in fact, even in speaking that to you, I've made a mistake, which is the reason that this policy needed to be refined. Because the original policy spoke specifically to field trip transportation by school bus. And often we will have field trips that go a little farther. It might be to a camp in the Whiteshell or skiing at Assisipi, where a motor coach is used instead of a school bus. So the changes that are being brought before you this evening clarify that the safety procedures apply to both school buses and motor coaches, any form of bus that would be used, and definitions of those from the Highway Traffic Act are included in the policy. There was also a reminder from our field trips policy that was reviewed quite recently that 14 and 15 passenger vans are not acceptable for transporting students or staff in our school division. The procedures to follow when there is an unexpected incident, specifying the role of the bus driver and the role of the supervising teacher or adult is clarified in the procedure section as well. Finally, we have added in a couple of pieces that were formally included in our field trip planning manual and had been overlooked by some simply because it wasn't connected to policy very easily. And this is just reminding folks that there is a limit to one stowable container per teacher. This is often used if they're maybe doing a kindergarten field trip to the farm. All of the lunches will go in a Rubbermaid tote under the teacher's seat, and just reminding that that is an option and that it is limited to one container per teacher. And finally, that in accordance with provincial legislation, no flammable liquids may be transported on the bus.
The recommendation then is that policy AE, student transportation, safety procedures to prepare for field trips be amended. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Trustee Kolachek, second. Trustee Turner. Any questions on this one? Trustee Palmquist.
With respect to the clause that prohibits the use of cargo vans or extended vans, is there any other types of vehicles or modes of transportation that are explicitly prohibited other than that one? Or specific, or for that matter, specifically permitted?
So ideally, for Field trip, and in the field trip policy, it speaks to this, that it would be commercial transportation as the first choice. So that would be renting a school bus, renting a charter bus, something of that nature. And alternatively, it can be parent volunteer, staff volunteer in a private vehicle. The prohibition of 14 and 15 passenger vans relates to insurance restrictions or coverage with MSBA following a tragic accident in Rome a few years ago.
Would, within this policy or other related ones, would a teacher who sought to take a students on a field trip using a bicycle be permitted?
That has happened.
It has?
Yes.
Okay,
Grade 4 class at Caudeguillo a few years ago.
Yeah.
Wonderful trip from a Caudeguillo down the Bishop Grandin Greenway to Riel House and to the board office for a citizenship exposition.
that's great. Would would an event like that be touched upon by this policy or any of the other transportation related policies?
It would be covered under the field trip policy that directs staff to consult the Manitoba Physical Activity Safety Guide. And in that guide, it has specific recommendations for different types of activities. Cycling is one of them, and then it would have recommendations if you are doing mountain biking out in the White Shell, or if you're doing road biking.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sigurdson?
Yeah, so just to be clear, it's not specifically prohibited for if there's smaller groups, or if the group is broken into smaller groups, for parent volunteers of an SUV or private vehicle to take children.
No, that commonly occurs for basketball games,
Yeah.
volleyball games, that type of thing. It could be that you have just one carload too many to fit on the bus to go to the zoo, and you may have some problem by car. But the prohibition to 14 and 15 passenger vans would still apply because we wouldn't have insurance coverage.
Yeah, so it's just specifically that particular type of van because of insurance issues.
Yes.
Thanks for clarifying.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you. Just before we move to correspondence, I neglected to mention as part of the chair information, MSBA fall meeting, that the Universal Standards Trust Fund re-elected or appointed rather our trustee Chipalo Seminola to a 2-year term. So he will represent Region 5 on this and wish him or we extend congratulations on this, and of course thanks for committing some time to this important work. That takes us to correspondence. There's correspondence there from the school board and also from Manitoba School Boards Association. Any questions anybody wanted to ask on anything? All right, we have no action items tonight. Public question period starting in the room. Mr. McGurran, no questions? Any questions from our guests online at all?
Anything?
All right. That brings us to our to the end of our agenda. We are adjourned. It looks like 7:08. Have a great evening. Good care.